Hey everyone, Jesus here from Busy Insights, and today I want to talk to you more about approval rates and why approval rates are dropping. So in the last video we discussed about how to determine why your approval rates are dropping. Today I want to focus more into one of those reasons, which is mid performance or your mid health. So what is mid health? Mid health represents how stable and trustworthy your merchant IDs are in the eyes of processors and issuer banks. So it's not just about chargebacks, it's not just about refunds, it's also about approval consistency, refund behavior, transaction velocity, performance across bins, car brands, etc. So it's a very complex matter. So I will think of it like your processing credit score. So the better your mid score is, the more likely the banks are to approve your transactions. So why it matters? Well, acquires and issuer track approval rates, refund patterns, and disputes closely. So when a MIT starts showing irregularities like approval rate drops, high refunds, too many retries, high fraudulent declines, it's a signal that there's a higher risk on approving transactions on those MITs. That risk can lead to throttling, routing restrictions, or even suspension of your MIDs or a shutdown of your MIDs. So keeping a strong mid health directly protects your approval rate and ability to scale. So in this example that I have over here, you can see the approval rate. I'm filtering by just one mid over here, one acquire PNC as a whole, just to show you like how degradation it started around 24%, 25% approval rate, and over time started to drop to 21%, 20%, 18%. So the more time that you've been holding to that mid, the approval rate will start degrading. So I think for most of the cases, it's almost inevitable, especially in the high risk industry, so that the mids start degrading. But I think that one of the key things is that you want to start at a very high approval rate on those new mids before they start degrading. That way, that mid will last you more over time instead of just like 15 days or 20 days, right? So how you can use these insights so you can improve your health or at least monitor your health in a better way so you can take more proactive actions. So normally I like to use my mid performance report. So normally I like to use my mid performance report because I have a overall view of all my mids. They are listed in here. All my gateway IDs are listed in here, gateway alias, the acquired that they belong to, everything, right? The gateway age, so you can see how old your mid is. And we give a ranking on initials and rebuild performance so you can monitor closely how good your mids is performing on both initials and rebuilds, because we know that there's a different, a very large, normally a large gap in price point between initials and rebuilds. So we got to evaluate the performance differently. So initial performance, rebuild performance, 3 stars means that those are your very best mids within your own data. And then we provide a health tag, critical, at risk, or healthy. And these are basically a score that we provide based on the chargeback rates that you have, the chargeback count, the alert, the refund, the capacity. So we look into everything based on the last 3 months, and then we give out this score. So that way you don't have to really evaluate like really all the details into your mid. So you can see, okay, the critical ones, this is critical, and it is looking into that. Very easy for you to evaluate. Just click on critical, everything will get filtered, and you're able to see all your critical mid, and that's it, right? So here you also have columns, column tab, so you can evaluate all these metrics like refunds, charged by MasterCard, by Visa, everything. So this will give you a very good perspective on which are the means that need your attention the most based on the performance. You can say, okay, these are the very best ones, so I really need to protect them. How do you protect them? Well, there are a lot of actions that you can take. So, for example, keeping chargeback consistent on a low trend, same as refunds. So you can offset the chargeback ratios and refund ratios by low risk, so lower price point or higher cycle transactions that tend to have a very low chargeback rate. So you can also look into your chargeback, and you can also look into your chargeback and refund report. So you can look into it by chargeback and refund date, and you can start looking at it, for example, by product. So you can see, okay, which are the products that have the lowest chargeback rate. So you can sort it from low to high or from high to low. So you can see which products you can start injecting to those meets that need these healthy transactions. So you can start offsetting those chargeback ratio. So you can also start balancing the amount of transactions or which transactions you are putting into each of those meets. I mean, not just because one meet is performing really well, you're just going to put like all your cycle one reveals or your high risk transactions in there just to get the most out of it. Because if you do that, then that meet is going to last you for a very short period of time. So you want to balance that and you start processing or putting more transactions in there over time. And so that way you have a good balance scenario. And if you do that for across all the portfolio, all your meets, then that's how you're gonna ensure that your meets last longer and your approval rates last longer as well on a high end. And going back to the mid performance report, so in here we also have notification settings, which is accessible through like all your sites, so all the tabs in the platform. And you can go to notification settings and start assigning any notification. That way you are on top of what's going on your meets. You can see, okay, any meets that reaches 2% chargeback ratio or higher than 2% chargeback ratio, you just want to be notified by email, Telegram, save it, or a chargeback count. Like if you don't want to see any gateways or meets above 10 chargeback, then you do that. Meet capacity is super important because if you have any meets just reaching or going nearby your meet capacity, you want to get notified that. That way you prevent those type of systematic declines that you can actually prevent. That's a revenue savior there. So just click on save, choose your delivery method, and you will get notified as soon as one of your meets reaches this point, like alert rate, decline rate, chargeback count, chargeback rate, and capacity reach. So those are the main things that you want to look into that and to protect your meets. But not only that, I will also look at the bin performance by meet, looking into it by in the approval rate report. You can just click on each acquire or each meet and look at the performance by bin and look at the performance over time as well. See if maybe there is a specific bank or bin that has a very low approval rate that you don't want to just sacrifice your meet just injecting those type of transactions, or just because they have like a very high chargeback rate. You can include in here chargeback rates, and you're able to see the chargeback rate as well in here. So maybe you have a really good approval rate in one of those banks, like Citibank, for example, in this example, but the chargeback rate is like 12%. So yeah, you're putting a lot of these transactions into a meet, but they are going to blow up in chargebacks. Smart decline reprocessing strategies, that's a very smart thing to do so that you can evaluate the decline recovery, or you can just look at the attempt count that you have for each of those meets. You don't want to put too much pressure into those meets and having them blow up over time, because I mean, if you do a very aggressive decline processing strategy on your meets, then you're sacrificing your overall approval rate. So either just select a specific portfolio, a specific part of your portfolio to process those transactions, or use another company to process those transactions. But the core here, the core idea is to protect those meets, the health of your meets, because that's how you're going to guarantee that the approval rates are going to last longer overall, right? So mid performance report gives you that approval, dispute, and refund performance meet by meet. Notification system lets you set automated alerts, chargeback refund analytics, visualize dispute growth, over time, decline recovery report, visualize just how you which declines you're getting, if you're getting a fraudulent decline, stuff like that. So overall, mid health for me is the backbone of your approval performance. So monitor it, protect it, and act early. So that's what we're trying to do. So if you have any feedback or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.